Let me mute the screen. Thank you, Rosie. Very astute observation. Rosie said, what do we do with the extra? Noticing that L1 and L2 do not have the same number of elements in them. So if you try to do what we've done so far when you have this kind of data, what's going to happen on your TI? You won't even get that far. If you try to do what you did on the exam you just turned in on this data set, what's going to happen? Happen to Lindsay. You're going to get a dimension error because you've got a different number of data points in both. Now, why do we have a different number of data points in both? Right. I wasn't keeping track of how I did a bunch. Essentially, I did it until Max got bored. And then we stopped. And then he went and played with leaves, and I went and changed the brakes, and then we came back and did it again until he got bored. It just so happens that was within one trial of each other, which is fairly amazingly consistent for a 6-year-old kid. But the fact of the matter is that how is this different than that girl's weight problem we just did, or the finger-thumb problem we did in class, or the husband-wife problem that we did in class? How is this different? And how is it the same? There is a similarity, and there's a difference. Give me one or the other, either a similarity or a difference.
It seems like they're not really related as like the weight would be.
Good.
Not measuring before.
Harrison, that's perfect. There's no before and after. There's no thumb and finger. There's no husband-wife. In all of those data sets, in every single one of those data sets, what was there between each element in L1 and each element in L2? Some kind of what? Say that again.
Difference?
Well, there was a difference, and we took the difference because we knew that the data points in L1 and L2 were somehow what? I'm not looking for a math word, I'm looking for an English word. Related! Good, they were dependent on each other in some way, yes? Your thumb is in some way related to your finger when you're using the stopwatch. How is it related? Because they're in the same hand, connected by the same brain. Right? Same nervous system. Beautiful. Husband and wife scores. How are they related? Well, legally. They're married, right? They're married. Girls' weights, before and after, how are they related?
It's the same girl.
It's the same girl. Yes, it's the same girl. So there's a dependence between the two data sets, or I'm sorry, it was the 3 data sets in this case, perhaps I apologize, with 6 data sets. But there's a dependence in that example, in the thumb-finger example, in the husband-wife example. There is no dependence here. The only similarity is that I used the same bike for both of them. But this first date, this point here of 26.5 has nothing to do with that 17.583. That's it. Those are independent observations. The difference being we had different brakes on the second one than the first one. So we're not trying to match up the data points here and the data points here. Which means what do we actually have here? How many different samples do we have? How many different samples do we have? We actually have 2, which is why I like so much what Michael said about making confidence intervals and seeing if they overlap. Because if we make confidence intervals and see if they overlap, you're talking about 2 different intervals, yes? That makes perfect sense because there actually are 2 data sets. There's the stopping distance with cantilever brakes, and there's a stopping distance with V-brakes. That's different. That's different than the average weight of all the girls before the test and the average weight of all the girls after the test. If you do that, you lose the individual girl's behavior. There's a link that you can't ignore. There is no link here to ignore. So, what I want to do is, I want to kind of synopsize. Rosie, go ahead, go ahead.
Isn't the fact that each bike has the same rider, though?
That's a control. That's a good thing. That's a control, which means I don't have any confounding variable with that.
Right.
Yeah, and what I tried to do, this is ridiculous. What I tried to do every single time was, I would start in the exact same spot at the top of that driveway, and I would put the bike faced right towards that tape, and then I would pop up into a track stand and tuck my knees in, tuck my elbows in, and hold this ridiculous position. And then slowly move my hands out to those brake levers, and then as soon as I cross 0, I'd start the braking. I mean, I look like an idiot. But I tried to control for, not the idiot looking, but I tried to control for any, like if I had my leg flopping around like this, that might pull the bike to one side, that might slow me down inadvertently. I tried to keep everything the same except for the fact that I had the V-brakes on at the end of the day. Is that good? Good, good, good. So, I'm just going to make a quick little tree diagram here. Oh, this is tests. You know what? Actually, hold on. Well, would you guys mind pausing that camera real quick? I may already have this. Let me look real quick.
I have no idea what button pauses this thing.
Oh yeah, far right button. Cassie, if you don't mind, that'd be great. I may already have one of this.
On the other side?
Yeah.